Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world with me, Deepika, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi underscores the role of Mizoram in government's Act East policy, inaugurates multiple projects worth 9,000 crore rupees. PM Modi extends best wishes to Nepal's interim Prime Minister. Nepal's parliament currently stands dissolved hours after Sushila Karki took oath. Election for new government to be held in March next year. NATO to strengthen defence of Europe's eastern flank after Poland shot down alleged Russian drones. US joins in solidarity. Poland rejects Trump's remarks. India's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj and Chirag Shetty seal final spot at the Hong Kong Open. Lakshya Sen in action soon in men's singles semi-final. Good afternoon to all the viewers joining us at DD India Live. To begin with the latest. With an aim to bolster development, Prime Minister Narendra Modi began a 3-day visit to Mizoram, Manipur, Assam, West Bengal and Bihar on Saturday. On his first stop in the northeastern state of Mizoram, Prime Minister laid the foundation stone and inaugurated multiple development projects worth over 9,000 crore rupees at Aizawl. These projects cater to multiple sectors including railways, roadways, energy, sports, among others. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Mizoram's first railway line and flagged off the state's maiden Rajdhani Express connecting Aizawl with New Delhi. A historic day for the nation, particularly for the people of Mizoram, said the PM. From today, Aizawl will be open on India's railway map as well. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Narendra Modi lauded the recently announced GST reforms and said that these changes will make basic and essential amenities like healthcare less expensive.
Recently, next generation GST reforms have been announced. This means lower taxes on many products, making life easier for families. Before 2014, even daily essential like toothpaste, soap and oil were taxed at 27%. Today, only 5% GST is applicable. During Congress rule, medicines, test kits and insurance policies were heavily taxed. That is why healthcare was expensive and insurance was out of reach for ordinary families. But today, all these have become affordable. The new GST rates will also make medicines for serious diseases like cancer more inexpensive.
Taking a jibe at the opposition parties, Prime Minister Modi said that for a long time, many parties have practiced vote bank politics, but BJP believes in focusing on those who are most neglected.
For a long time, some political parties in our country practiced vote bank politics. Their focus was always on places which had more votes and seats. The entire Northeast, including states like Mizoram, suffered greatly because of this attitude. But our approach is very different. Those who were earlier neglected are at the forefront now. Those who were once marginalized are the mainstream now. For the past 11 years, we have been working for the development of the Northeast.
Continuing the growth journey, Prime Minister will next visit Manipur in a short while from now and will lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects worth over 7,300 crore rupees at Churachandpur in Manipur. Further, he will inaugurate various projects worth over 1,200 crore rupees at Imphal. Prime Minister will thereafter visit Assam and participate in the celebrations of the 100th birth anniversary of Bharat Ratna Dr. Bhupen Hazarika in Guwahati. On the day of his visit on the 14th of September, Prime Minister will also inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of major infrastructure and industrial development projects worth over 18,530 crore rupees in Assam. He will also lay the foundation stone of various projects at Darang. Thereafter, he will inaugurate Assam Bioethanol Private Limited, Numaligarh refinery plant at Kolaghat, and he will also lay the foundation stone of a polypropylene plant at Kolaghat. On the last day of his multi-state visit, which is the 15th of September, Prime Minister will visit West Bengal and inaugurate the 16th Combined Commanders Conference 2025 in Kolkata. Thereafter, Prime Minister will visit Bihar and inaugurate the new terminal building of Purnia Airport. Further, he will also lay the foundation stone and inaugurate multiple development projects worth around 36,000 crore rupees at Purnia. He will also launch the National Makhana Board in Bihar. At the invitation of the government of Papua New Guinea, Union Minister of State for External Affairs Pabitra Margarita will pay a visit to Papua New Guinea on 16th September. The minister will take part in commemorative events marking Papua New Guinea's 50th anniversary of independence on behalf of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. During the visit, the MOS External Affairs is expected to hold bilateral meetings with political leadership of Papua New Guinea. He will be interacting with the Indian diaspora and the business community as well. The visit of the MOS to Papua New Guinea would provide an opportunity to continue India's engagement with the leadership in the Pacific Island countries. In May 2023, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired the historic third summit of the Forum for India-Pacific Islands Cooperation in Port Moresby Bay. Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal addressed the FABI-DPIIT Joint Ministerial Business Interaction, where the minister called for a unified European voice to enhance the India-Europe business partnership. Echoing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision, he emphasized that India's ties with Europe are rooted in shared values and a common vision for a better world. Piyush Goyal also underlined that this partnership is not just bilateral, but a potential model for global geopolitics and cooperation.
The Prime Minister of India had said, India's partnership with Europe is built on shared values and shared vision for a better world. So really, this partnership with Europe is not only about us. We will actually be setting a role model for the geopolitics of the world.
Strengthening ties with India is a top priority for the United States. Now, as both the nations emphasize their growing strategic partnership, U.S. Envoy Designate to India Sergio Gore has said Washington and New Delhi are on the track to resolve issues. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also echoed the same sentiments. Here's more on this evolving relationship. Take a look.
The India-US ties appear to be getting fine-tuned, with both sides emphasizing the robust historic relationship. In fact, the US envoy designate to India, Sergio Gore, has said that Washington and New Delhi are on track to resolve hiccups in the relationship. Speaking at his Senate confirmation hearing in Washington, D.C. on Thursday, Gore underlined that India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond.
India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond. Under President Donald Trump's strong leadership, I'm committed to advancing America's interest in this important partnership. India's geographic position, economic growth, and military capabilities make it a cornerstone of regional stability and a critical part of promoting prosperity and advancing the security interests that our nations share.
Gore emphasized that India's geographic position, economic growth, and military capabilities make it a cornerstone for regional stability and a crucial part of promoting shared prosperity and security interests.
We might have our moment of hiccups right now. We are on the track of resolving that. Our relationship with the Indian government, with the people of India, extends many more decades. And it's
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio too stressed that India is one of the top relationships the U.S. has in the world today. Supporting Sergio Gore at his confirmation hearing, Rubio said Washington is in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with Delhi.
India is, I would say, one of the top relationships the United States has in the world today in terms of the future of what the world's going to look like. The 21st century, the story is going to be written in the Indo-Pacific. In fact, it's so important we've actually changed the name of the combatant command to the Indo-Pacific. India is at the core of that. And we are in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with India. We've got some really important issues coming up that we need to work with them on and work through.
With both sides committed to strengthening ties, the India-US partnership is poised to play a pivotal role in shaping the geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific region. As strategic priorities align, Washington and New Delhi continue to build on their shared values and common goals, fostering a relationship that promises stability, growth, and mutual benefit for years to come. Bureau Report, DD India.
In a major achievement, India has won the bid to host the 5th Coast Guard Global Summit in 2027, a decision taken unanimously by the CGGS participants. This recognition marks the growing stature of India in the global maritime domain and reaffirms country's leadership role in advancing international maritime cooperation. The announcement was made during the 4th Coast Guard Global Summit held in Italy. The summit, attended by delegates from 115 countries and international organizations, underscored its importance as a premier global forum for Coast Guard cooperation. During the ceremony marking the handover of the CGGS presidency, the Director General of the Indian Coast Guard highlighted the summit's role as a beacon of global Coast Guard cooperation in addressing shared maritime challenges. Moving on, the Indian Meteorological Department has issued an orange alert for Uttarakhand, warning of very heavy rainfall. Heavy rainfall last night in Mussoorie disrupted normal life. The downpour triggered massive landslides across multiple areas, disrupting traffic on several major routes. Several landslides have also been reported. In Barloganj, an entire stretch of the road was washed away after a hillside collapsed, completely cutting off access to and from the area. Fallen trees at several locations along the Mussoorie-Dehradun road have blocked the highway, leading to further worsening of the situation. Moving on to updates from Nepal now. The former Chief Justice of Nepal, Sushila Karki, took oath as the Prime Minister of the interim government of Nepal. After intensive discussions from the last 3 days and a formal dialogue at the President's office, it was decided to appoint former Chief Justice Sushila Karki as the head of the interim government. Sushila Karki becomes the first women Prime Minister of Nepal. She is the first women Chief Justice of Nepal who was widely praised for her integrity. President Ramchandra Paudel has dissolved the House of Representatives, which is the lower house of the federal parliament, upon the recommendation of Prime Minister Sushila Karki. According to a press release issued by the Office of the President, the date for the next election is fixed for the 5th of March 2026. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended best wishes to Nepal's new interim Prime Minister. Posting on his official account on X, he said, and I quote him here, I extend my best wishes to Right Honourable Mrs. Sushila Karki on assuming office as the Prime Minister of the interim government of Nepal. India remains firmly committed to the peace, progress and prosperity of the people of Nepal." Unquote. In a pivotal response to Nepal's escalating political crisis, India welcomed the formation of a new interim government on Friday. India's statement emphasizes continued collaboration as close neighbors and fellow democracies to foster well-being and prosperity for both the nations. Karki, backed by youth activists for her anti-corruption stance, is tasked with dissolving the parliament and organizing elections by March 2026, marking a potential turning point in Nepal's turbulent journey towards reform. Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live. Well, India voted in favor of a UNGA resolution supporting the New York Declaration for the peaceful resolution of Israel-Hamas conflict. The resolution, proposed by France, was supported by 142 countries, opposed by 10, with 12 abstaining. Countries voting against included Argentina, Hungary, Israel and the US. The declaration calls for ending the Gaza conflict, implementing a two-state solution for a just, peaceful and lasting resolution to the conflict, and building a better future for Palestinians, Israelis and the region as a whole. It urges Israeli leadership to publicly commit to a sovereign, viable Palestinian state under a two-state solution. US President Donald Trump hosted Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani a short while ago for a private dinner in New York, joined by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. This happened days after Israel's controversial airstrike on Hamas leaders in Doha. The strike, killing 5 Hamas members and a Qatari official, drew widespread condemnation as state terrorism and threatened Gaza ceasefire talks mediated by Qatar. Trump, expressing frustration to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, assured no repeats to protect US ally Qatar, host of key AI Udeid base. Earlier, Al Thani met Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio at the White House for an hour-long discussion on mediation and defense ties. Qatar's Deputy Mission Chief posted on X, and I quote him, "Great dinner with POTUS just ended," unquote. A source called it positive with future steps. The Gaza war, ongoing since October 2023, has killed over 64,000 per Palestinian officials amid genocide allegations that Israel denies. Trump further aims to bolster US-Qatar security pact amid regional tensions. NATO announced plans to beef up the defense of Europe's eastern flank on Friday, 2 days after Poland shot down drones that had violated its airspace in the first known action of its kind by a member of the Western Alliance during Russia-Ukraine spat. At the United Nations, the United States called the airspace violations alarming and vowed to defend every inch of NATO territory, remarking that it appeared aimed at assuaging Washington's NATO allies after President Donald Trump said Russia's drone incursion could have been a mistake. On Friday, Poland rejected Trump's suggestion that the incursions could have been a mistake, a rare contradiction of the US president from one of Washington's closest European allies. Later on Friday, the US joined Western allies in a statement to express concerns about the drone incursion and to accuse Moscow of violating international law and the founding UN Charter. China's military condemned the sailing of a US and British warship through the sensitive Taiwan Strait, saying it ordered naval and air forces to monitor and warn the two ships. The People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theater Command said the US destroyer USS Hitchens and British frigate HMS Richmond were engaged in troublemaking and provocation. In a statement, the actions of the United States and Britain send the wrong signals and undermine peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. Britain's Defence Ministry said the sailing was a routine passage. Last week, a Canadian and an Australian warship also sailed through the strait. China, that views Taiwan as its own territory, says the strategic waterway is part of its territorial waters. Taiwan's government rejects Beijing's territorial claims. China has now the past 5 years increased its military pressure on the island, including by staging war games nearby. US stands with the Philippines against China's plan in South China Sea, atoll, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Friday, rejecting what he described as China's destabilizing plans for the South China Sea. US says Beijing claiming Scarborough Reef as a nature preserve is yet another coercive attempt to advance sweeping territorial and maritime claims in the South China Sea at the expense of its neighbors. Rubio said China's actions continue to undermine regional stability, calling on Beijing to abide by the arbitral tribunal's unanimous 2016 decision that China had unlawfully prevented Filipino fishermen from engaging in traditional fishing at Scarborough Reef. The Philippines said on Saturday it had sailed with the US Indo-Pacific Command and Japan's Navy off islands in Zambales province, whose coast is around 120 nautical miles from Scarborough Shoal. Moving on, and Russia, an earthquake of magnitude 7.5 struck near the east coast of Russia's Kamchatka region on Saturday, just over a month after a powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck the Kamchatka Peninsula, a region with a long history of seismic activity. The Tsunami Warning Center earlier issued an alert for tsunami that was later removed. In Japan, to the southwest of the Kamchatka Peninsula, no tsunami warning has been issued. Back in July, the quake triggered tsunami warnings, not just in Russia, but also parts of the US, Japan, Hawaii, Chile, Costa Rica, and others. And now let's get you the latest from the world of sports, to begin with badminton first. India's top men's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki-Reddy and Chirag Shetty entered the final of the Hong Kong Open on Saturday. The top-seeded Indian duo defeated Chinese Taipei's Chen and Lin in the semi-final. Satvik and Chirag won the match by 21-17, 21-15. Meanwhile, Lakshya Sen will be in action soon in men's singles semi-finals. India's top-seeded shuttler Sen knocked out compatriot Ayush Shetty in the quarterfinals. Both Indian shuttlers went toe-to-toe in the high-octane game. Eventually, it was the more experienced Sen who came up trumps to win the three-game thriller. Defending champion Alimadis Ayuyu, along with her Ethiopian teammate Chimal Mikunen, will headline the 20th edition of the Delhi Half Marathon of World Athletics Gold Label road race scheduled to flag off on the 12th of October. Chimal Mikunen, a key member of Ethiopia's victorious team at the 2017 World Cross County Championship in Kampala, will headline the men's elite lineup. Leading the charge from Kenya will be Bernard Bawit. Bawit is fresh from his Paris Marathon victory earlier this year. He will be joined by Paris Olympics 5,000 meter silver medalist Ronald Komo, who will be making his half marathon debut in Delhi. In golf, Gaganjeet Bhullar asserted his class by clinching the trophy in the inaugural 1.5 crore Indian rupees Indian Golf Premier League tournament at the Chandigarh Golf Club on Friday. The 37-year-old Gaganjeet overcame an early bogey on the third and final round to register a 2 under 70 for the day and an overall 5 under 211 that fetched the winner's purse of 22.5 lakh rupees. Dharma was 2 shots behind Gaganjeet in the second place. Veer Ganapati, Kartik Sharma and Shaurya Binu were joint third. And Pakistan opened its Asia Cup campaign with a 93-run victory over Minoz Oman in Group B on Friday. Batting first, Pakistan scored 160 for 7 in 20 overs and then bowled out Oman for just 67. After showing a glimpse of fight with 40 runs for the loss of 2 wickets in the power play, Oman was reduced to 49 for 6 by the halfway stage of the innings. Earlier, Mohammad Haris struck an impressive 66 to set up Pakistan victory. They next take on arch rivals India on Sunday at the Asia Cup tournament. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from the country and the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live.